What's going on, guys? Welcome back to another episode of We Are Just Making It. I'm your host, Amir.
Co-host, Ali.
And today we've got a Austin legend, the owner of one of the coolest facilities in Austin, Texas. Austin legend, seriously. Turab. He is the owner of Eastside Paddle Club. He has been a part of Austin's basically growth for about, what, 5 years? I feel like. Yeah, dude.
That's
anytime that I've seen.
Nice. That's like the nicest shit I've ever heard.
Anytime that I've seen something that has like popped up and like been something that I'm like, dang, that would be a lot of fun to be at, I just see you or your family or some of your friends in the background, and I'm like,
yes, that's well.
Yeah, that's valid.
Yeah.
So
I'm called an Austin legend, though. That's honestly,
dude,
the biggest honor I've ever heard.
But I mean, you quite literally get to earn that whenever you open up the largest indoor pickleball facility in Central Austin.
Absolutely,
like,
yeah.
That's legend shit.
I'll take it.
It's not small.
I didn't open
Yeah,
one.
it's definitely not small.
Not small.
That was a risk for sure, but
Well, I mean, thanks for coming.
Absolutely.
Yeah, before the conversation starts, we kind of told you, like, we're just a bunch of guys. We just want to kind of dive into who you are, where you're going. We are just making it as a podcast where we basically just want to inspire other individuals, whether they are still trying to make it or they have made it, to offer some transparency and inspire other people to continue the good fight. I feel like a lot of people nowadays are just kind of like down in the dumps, especially with how hard life is.
It is, yeah.
And we just wanted to show people, hey, these people have made it. It's possible, but at the same time, this is the bullshit that people have had to go through in order to get there.
For sure.
So the first question that we start every single podcast interview off with is, have you made it? Like, think about it for a second. Have you made it?
I've definitely thought about it a couple times. I would like to say I haven't yet. I think there's still a lot on the table before I can really say I've made it. I think I've done as best as I can to this point, but I don't think I made it.
Dang, you're actually the first person that we've interviewed so far that says they haven't made it yet. And I think it's honestly because I know where your mind is from a business perspective.
Okay.
I think that's why it is, but we're going to dive into that.
Yeah.
Why haven't you made it? Like, what is making it to you?
I think from a life perspective, I'm extremely happy and grateful.
Yeah.
But I think from a business side, I think where we're at right now is great. From
Who's we?
Me and my partner, and just like me and my family.
Yeah.
But because I don't really think. I mean, there's a lot that I do from a day-to-day thing, but I think a team makes it. But I think there's still a lot on the table in terms of growth, business growth, personal growth, where then I can be like, I made it.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Would you say, obviously, with Eastside Paddle Club, and what other, you have Eastside Paddle Club currently, that's your bread and butter. What have you and your family been a part of in terms of endeavors in Austin?
So I think a lot is both on the real estate side. I know you're big into that, but we have like a lot of like just rental homes and stuff like that where we're trying to get big into it, really dive into it. And then me and my dad, we've just kind of run around town, do a lot of bars. Nightlife was our thing. It was what I honestly wanted to do.
Yeah, I know. That's why I knew you were so plugged into the scene.
Yeah, nightclubs was, and like bars. I mean, I don't even consider anything really a nightclub, but big into bars downtown on like West 6th. Slowly pivoted to South Austin.
Like Rainy or?
Like Manchac.
Okay.
South.
South.
Yeah. But those are cool. But I think my whole lifestyle, especially with, having a wife and kid now, I think a lot's changed, right? Like my mindset is more so on taking care of them, doing stuff that honestly betters our life, whether it be like, that's why I think Eastside Paddle Club was a thing, right? It was a step away from the nightlife and that toxic lifestyle, and then kind of pivoted into health and wellness.
Yeah.
Which I think it's been great thus far.
Was the pivot from that due to the fact that you were in a relationship, or was it just like more or less a personal maturity?
I think it was a little bit of both.
Yeah.
I think, Cass a little bit, right? Yeah. She, great woman.
Yeah.
I mean, like, definitely like changed my mindset in terms of like how I should live my life and everything to it. you know, the way we spend our money, the way we go out and eat, we do everything, right? And that kind of tricked me into being, not even really tricked me, but that kind of pivoted me into this, like, all right, like, I like where I'm at.
Yeah.
And I think if we had a club or did anything a little bit more excessive, I just think it wouldn't have a great outcome.
Who out of the two of you guys is just like the fuck it and swipe, and the other is like,
Oh God. Oh God, dude, it's bad.
so when you got to eat, it's like drinks, appetizers, main course, dessert, and then where do we go after this? Or is it?
It's all right. Let me get like 2 main entrees, a couple appetizers,
Hey.
and then like just the run-up cocktails. Like that's my thing. It's funny because like at first it was definitely like a there was some tolerance.
Yeah.
But
Like she tolerated you?
yeah, like I like we went to Tulum one time, and I don't know if I was in the greatest shape of my life at that point, but oh my gosh, we spent at least like $300 a night on just food. No drinks, no nothing.
And it's not like
Food.
Tulum is like super expensive.
Like desserts, fucking steaks, like just eating.
Yeah.
And yeah, I'm definitely the swiper. She's the one that doesn't let me buy stuff, but I buy it anyways. So
Dang.
she keeps me in check. But then usually half the stuff's for her. Like I just buy it.
Oh, that's
So it's sweet.
So
At the end of the
she
day,
can't-
it equals out.
Come
you
yeah.
know?
You get your fix of like making that
The
purchase.
swipe.
Yeah. And then she's like, well, I guess a new iPad isn't that horrible, is it?
Yeah, it should be like I need a new computer for work. I'm like, I can make that happen.
Right. And she's like, no, I didn't need it right now. And you're like, it's already on
I
the way.
have to do it. Yeah, like I have to buy this. But
That's a very provider man.
I don't know, just happy wife, happy life. And
Amen.
Do I really believe that? Like, I did not believe that before. I thought it was always us happy, but she dictates the pace.
Now tell me about that. Like, obviously, being someone who's a part of Austin's nightlife, owning bars, running clubs, and then pivoting into this happy wife, happy life, man. Like, what was it that made you go there? Because, I mean, some people with money, with status, that have maintained it,
Yeah.
they hold on to that even in their relationship. Like, it takes a lot for
Yeah.
you to kind of make that switch.
Yeah, I think the biggest thing was, or like my mindset was like at one point just partying every weekend. I mean, you probably saw it.
Yeah.
But I kind of got lost for a very long time where like I just didn't know what was good and what was bad. And I was doing a lot of bad as in like just drinking and
yeah,
partying.
you just weren't-
not really focusing on myself,
Yeah.
more so of just the lifestyle. And really wasn't looking for anything. Like was just free doing my thing. And the second I wasn't looking, she just got a job at Play. One of the spots I was invested with.
Okay.
Literally like worked, I think it was like her second or third day on the job. And I was like, that's her. That's it.
That's an HR nightmare.
Yeah. Yeah. No, like the biggest thing was like workers cannot be with investors. And I was like, listen, like, dude, I'm fucking harmless.
Right. Come on.
I'm literally harmless. But yeah, she honestly like spit game on me. Like I don't think I have great game. Dude, she
You were
knows,
the catch.
She knows her shit. Cause like I guess like usually like she kind of taught me this honestly. It's like girls play dumb.
Yeah.
But like she played like she knew what she wanted. And ever since then, bro, I was like thirsty as hell on her DMs. So I'm like, yo, like let me in, you know? Like, let me just take you out for dinner.
Like she let you know that there was a level of interest to get you to be like, oh hey.
Yeah.
And then after that she just put the walls up and like made you work for it.
She was
Yeah.
like, got him.
Got him. Yeah.
So I don't know if anyone's like any girl's done this to you, but like she knows. No. We talk about this all the time. Is like I would be just like out like talking to people, and she would come behind me and like dead leg me, right?
Oh yeah.
And like do this like I don't know, it was like not necessarily masculine, but definitely like was the aggressor.
Right.
Like but like would play hard to get, like forget my name, which like clearly she knew my name, right? And I just didn't. I never like really knew that. And then finally took her out on a date. She made me bring a friend with her, or one of her friends with her, because
So-
she just like didn't know.
So it was like you and then
Her and a friend. Yeah, like one of her sorority sisters.
and just you.
Yeah, and just me.
And did you pay for the whole?
Oh my man.
You got.
Oh my man.
You got.
I got finessed.
That was a dangerous game you played.
And it was
right
a nice.
there.
It's my favorite place. It was Jay Carver's.
Ooh.
So like we.
Yeah.
So
That's 150 a person just to start.
yeah. I mean, I wish I just got salads. But,
I wish.
but yeah. Ever since then, we've been like inseparable. I think the longest time we've ever spent apart was like 4 days. Like just can't really leave one another, and it's been great. No fights, no nothing. Like it's been phenomenal.
Now, from like a background perspective, what's like your ethnicity? What's your
I'm Filipino and Indian.
Filipino and Indian, and she is pure blood American, or how does that go?
So my brother honestly said this best. I honestly don't know if it's racist or not, but like she's German, Irish, and Italian.
So she's white.
She's white. Yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly.
So,
I don't
like,
know if it's racist.
Every white
No,
person
that's-
says, like, I'm German and Irish. I'm like,
You're the epitome of
Yeah.
European and American.
Yeah,
Okay, got it.
Sick.
And I don't know if it's racist to say that, but I was like, my brother's like, so you're white. Just say you're white.
Yeah, it's cool. You don't.
But
So,
yeah.
were there any like when you guys first got together? Were there any like cultural, social differences that you guys had to overcome, or was it for the most part it's been smooth sailing?
It's been pretty smooth. My mom's like pretty not hardcore, but she's Indian.
Yeah.
So I think that was not necessarily a big adjustment, but it was definitely like okay, like this is definitely a switch up. You know, like I've never introduced a girl to my mom, so like this is like the oh shit, you know, moment. And then her parents come from like North Michigan, like small town, not many people. So I was kind of nervous. Like there's really none of my type up there.
Yep.
Just fucking white.
Yeah.
You know? And so I think the big scare was like, okay, I'm going to go up there. We went up there, I think, a year ago.
How long have you guys been dating?
2
years and some change.
2 years and some change. Okay.
So we went up there, was like, all right, this is going to be fucking interesting. I'm about to get just smacked.
You're grilled.
Yeah. And honestly, it was the best turnout. Parents loved me. Like, I was like, I'm just gonna be me. Let's see what happens. Was me, and it worked great. Like, her dad. It was funny because that was like kind of the point where I was gonna ask, you know, for the hand in marriage or the approval to have her hand in marriage, and I was so nervous that I asked the dad for his hand in marriage. I didn't really. He was like,
He's blacked
He's
out.
like, dude, I'm not gay. Dude, he's like, dude, I'm not gay. Like, are you trying to marry my daughter or me? I was like, I said that wrong. I'm so sorry. I'm trying to marry your daughter.
Right.
And yeah, that day it was great. And from Car People, she taught me how to drive a manual. Like that day, right after. Yeah.
Dang, you really got one.
Yeah, and a
That's-
59 vet. She taught me how to drive manual. It was
Dang.
fucking awesome, dude. It was awesome.
she got a sister or what?
She does. Her sister's taken.
All right. Next question.
So running back to like more of your childhood, what was it like? Were you the popular kid? Like,
No.
really, I just want to figure out how did you end up being in the center of Austin's nightlife and owning pieces of Austin without having
Yeah, I
a
think
social circle?
childhood was definitely the opposite. I was the lost kid that didn't wanted to be like the kid that everybody, you know, gravitated towards. But I was just really shy, insecure, didn't really know how to fit in. It was a school, Lake Travis, love it. We're actually moving back there. But it was a school where like it's sports only, and like,
Yeah.
the cool kids
Play sports.
or like the sports, yeah.
Yeah.
And I played basketball here and there, like I was pretty good, but just didn't know exactly how to get myself in these friend groups, right? Definitely was the outcast, but met a really close group of friends that were on the same basketball team as me, and I mean we're still brothers like till this day. Can't thank them enough because they definitely got me out of my comfort zone. They honestly let me express myself and just being me, and I think that was really hard to find, but.
What when you say express yourself, was it like you were an emotional kid, or was it
I was
more
emotional. Had a lot of ups and downs growing up, just like, you know, parents getting divorced, really close family members passing. Mom's a doctor, so, you know, like not necessarily home 24/7.
Yeah.
But they let me like really confide in them, like in any shape, in form. So.
Are they a part of some of your business ventures now?
Wish. Jay, Connor. I need some money. I need some money. But no, they're really good friends of mine. I mean, I'm actually gonna go see them next month. But yeah, they're like still my brothers to this day.
And then at what point did you like start to come out of that shell and start to like really peacock and flourish?
I don't know if I can. I don't know if I can say this because I mean I used to go party when I was like 15, 16.
Yeah,
like I would start going to West.
So well, yeah. I was about to say yeah. We've been to house parties.
Party with a capital P.
Yeah, so I used to like finagle my way in there, and
there's nothing they can do about it now.
I don't know, just kind of walking around with my pops, who was like big, like really well known at the time, and kind of like opened me up to this like new world that I really didn't know existed. I mean, I knew house parties and everything like that, but like I was saying earlier, I was that non-social kid where that would just sit in the fucking corner and look at the weather or something, where when I go downtown and, people are buying you shots, greeting you and everything like that, it just made me more comfortable with the scene and definitely more social. So, yeah.
And that's honestly, I'm not saying like for all my parents out there, like get your kid out at 15, like that's not what
No.
we're doing. But what I am saying is that's really cool that you got to experience a majority of what people in their 30s are like still trying to find really early, because you're 24 now with a family, successful businesses, head on straight, like but you still had that time
Absolutely.
to figure out like do I want to lean into having a good time for the rest of my life?
Absolutely. Yeah, I mean, I think a lot of people are like, I was doing what you were doing at 24, like can't imagine. And like, yes, like obviously I'm living a completely different life at that age, of 24, but I mean, I still had my fix.
Yeah.
And I mean, I'm happy I had my fix, honestly, because like it made me realize what's good and what's bad. And molded me to who I am today.
What regrets did you have?
Fuck, spending a lot of money. That was it. I wish I put the money into
Crypto.
Oh my god. No,
Oh my god.
I put money into crypto. I had my account hacked.
Oh,
I lost $250,000. Yeah. Yeah.
dang,
Dude.
We're not talking about $2,500. A $250,000.
No, like,
Well, you should have just handed that to me.
dude, I've never cried so much in my life.
Yeah, I probably wouldn't be here if I lost a quarter of a million.
Dude, it was this crazy, it was like the crazy phase of like minting NFTs, right? And like all these like weird niche NFTs were popping up, and you're like, yo, that's the next,
Gotta hop on.
Bored Ape? Yeah, Bored Ape.
Yeah. I remember when that came out.
Yeah, and I was like, all right, cool. Like this one's for like exclusive people, right? And it's like they're selling it crazy, like, oh, like Floyd's in this, David Dobrik's in this, and I'm like, you know what? Like, I wasn't that mature. I think I was pretty mature for my time, but clearly not. But I was like, all right, cool. Like let me do this, right? Let me mint like a couple of these things. Hit the mint site. I got a ghost link, or like one of those like clone links. Click the clone link, being like, oh fuck yeah, like let's do this. Signed into my MetaMask. 2 seconds later,
bam,
gone. Everything. I had like 60 ETH, some crazy numbers, and a couple of like really good NFTs at the time, wiped. And I just started bawling. I got my brother. I'm like freaking out. I'm like, yo, I lost all this money. I'm like hugging my mom, just crying like a little bit.
And your mom's trying to process what
like,
you're even talking about.
NFTs, like, what is that? I'm like, this fucking digital art. She's like, what the fuck are you doing?
Then you start explaining, you're like, God, this sounds so fucking stupid.
Dude, exactly. And I mean, a loss is a loss. I really couldn't chase after it. Actually, I could have, but the company declared for bankruptcy.
Yeah.
So I could have chased it for tax purposes. Yeah. But basically, the company, I think it was Bittrex, had to be in like operation, and they were like filing for bankruptcy, so I couldn't necessarily go after my cash.
Dang.
Sucked.
And then, so $250,000, that's freaking insane. How is it that, I'm going to switch gears here, because that, when you were talking about like who was invested in those NFTs, you were like, you named some big names.
Yeah.
How is it that like now you've got investors like Myles Garrett, like Bijan Robinson?
Yeah.
Those are all like the biggest names in the NFL. Lil Wayne are all investors in your business.
Yeah. So it's cool because they're invested in the Ranchers,
okay,
which is like a professional pickleball team for anyone that wants to know that. They're all like kind of bought into the pickleball side, which is really cool. Yeah. And then obviously the Texas Ranchers have an equity stake in Eastside Paddle Club. But it's cool. I mean, it's really sweet to see that the sport of pickleball, which is a sport that I honestly from 10 months ago didn't think much of. I didn't really see the sport heading in that direction. And then you see, KD's kind of an ambassador of a team, and all these like large, Drake as well, are massive like ambassadors in the sport of pickleball. But like revisiting that, it's really cool to see that high profile people are kind of like taking an action in such a small sport.
Who's like, in terms of names, the biggest celebrity that you've had the opportunity to like cross paths with? Not just talking about like on an email chain, you're talking to the manager, but like legit like dap up, shake a hand, beat the same.
I'm kind of blanking out because you put me on the spot.
Yeah,
I gotta like think about it.
Yeah, I like that. Have you gotten to meet Myles Garrett?
I have not. Dang, I have not.
We went to high school. We went to a rival high school against him.
That's a big cat.
He was big in high school.
From an
now he's
athletic
massive.
Perspective,
yeah.
I have no idea how.
Nah, it's unfathomable.
He's a freak of nature.
Bro, it's unfathomable.
He looked like that at 16.
Did you see his basketball highlights?
Oh yeah, I've watched.
Bro, if he wanted to stop and make a run for the NBA,
do anything.
Yeah, like I think it'd be quite comical if the NBA was like, hey, here's a jersey and you get to play for the Mavs or
1 day contract.
Dude, that would
bully his way.
That would be hilarious.
Yeah. Ridiculous.
Myles, if you're watching this, go for it, dude.
Yeah. Dude, honestly, take the lead.
Come on the pod and tell us how
the lead.
Yeah.
I mean, it's wild to see. Like, I wish I could get to that athletic point.
Nah, dude. At that point, you just eat, sleep, and train.
So
like
much
that's
protein, man.
Dude,
so much protein.
My guy is quite literally a walking refrigerator. Not only because of how built he is, but because he is constantly having to fuel himself. Like that's all it is.
Speaking about like athletics, like tell me about like your way into rugby, because I saw a couple highlights on your Instagram. Fire, by the way.
Oh, thanks.
The edits were, I don't know who edited it, but
thanks.
Fire. But yeah, it's such a like physically demanding sport.
Yeah, so I honestly started playing rugby because I was too small for football.
Okay.
And so all in high school, I actually never played football. I tried out, and they were just like, yeah, you're like second string freshman. I was like, cool, I'll wrestle.
Yeah.
And because that was like the only sport technically where like you compete in a weight class and everyone is like similar. You can be the best small guy. And I was like, cool, I'm going to be the best small guy. When I got to college, I walked on to Texas State football, made it as a walk-on, did one summer workout, blew my back out deadlifting, and I was like, dang.
I fucked my back up deadlifting too.
Yeah. And so I was like, actually, I don't think I was supposed to play football. Like, I had played 7-on-7, but I was like, I'm going to let this cat, that's going to be his lane. And I started playing other sports. I tried out for the track team, made the track team, and the rugby coach had gotten wind of me that there's this kid that worked out at the rec, trained like a freaking monster, but was just a little undersized, but really fast. And he was like, hey, if you're done like messing around and seeing like if you like American sports, try rugby. And
where did it originate from?
That's I don't
really.
I would say like Fiji or like it's an old sport. Really? It's older than American football. But like you've got to think there's like the biggest teams in the world. Fiji, New Zealand, the All Blacks, Springboks, England, like those have all been around way longer than USA.
True.
So it's probably a really old sport.
Yeah, that sport terrifies me. I mean,
it's honestly not as bad for the position that I play. I play what's called the pretty boy position. So I'm a wing. Okay. So basically our job is at the end of the day, get the ball, run really fast, move the gain line, and then fall down. No, we don't pass. We don't. That is like,
I don't know rugby
that is the rule number one, is if the ball makes it to the wing, like you do everything you can to go forward, and then you go down because there's what's called support. And so there was times where like I would want to work on my passing skills because I was like, well, I want to be able to pass.
Yeah.
And my coach was like, for what? Like, if you're passing the ball, you're either running too slow or we did something really wrong and you shouldn't have had the ball. And so there's certain circumstances where like, I'm not going to get in the details, but like if it was 2-on-1, like I had support and you were about to make an open field tackle, I could pass it
off.
Yeah. But at that point, like, I only need to do that.
Yeah.
So me getting into rugby was more or less because I just suck. I didn't suck. I was too small at everything else, which has been a majority of my life. Like,
Yeah.
I've always been undersized
For sure.
for
Same.
everything. So I just compensate athletically.
Yeah.
So
Biggest saddest thing for me was, I still remember it to this day. It's like basketball tryouts for like varsity, and they were doing like all these like physical like lifts, right? And they throw like 115 on the bench bar. Bro, I couldn't do it once. I fucking went home and cried, dude. I was like, yo, I'm weak as shit. And by the way,
I'm not even playing. Yeah.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Yeah, no, you can. It's
Okay.
we're just making it, man.
But yeah, it was actually so depressing. Like, it was so sad.
Dang.
Mom walks in. Oh, he probably just lost more crypto again.
Right. All right. We're gonna take a quick break. We'll be right back after this message from not our sponsors. On this series of people who are not sponsoring our podcast and still getting a commercial, Celsius, one of my favorite flavors and a great high energy, decently ingrediented drink. Drink Celsius.
Vegan friendly.
And we're back to We Are Just Making It podcast. I am Amir, your host.
Co-host Ali.
And if you missed the first part of the podcast, we've got one of Austin's probably biggest players. I'm gonna keep gassing you up,
Mr.
dog.
ATX himself.
Mr. ATX himself, the reason that West 6 actually exists, or at least his family, Turab. So the first part of the podcast, we dove into a little bit of his background, heard a little bit about his life, his pivot from going from nightlife to now pickleball owner. And this is the part where now we want to figure out how can you educate and inspire people from a business perspective on how to make it.
Cool.
One, I appreciate you being here.
We already said that.
Taking time away
I
from
appreciate it.
your family. So yeah, I really want to dive into the business side of things because you have a pretty interesting track record here. So as far as your business acumen, where did that start? Was that in high school? Was that in college?
So did high school, graduated, the whole shebang. Went to ACC with two couple buddies of mine. Did about like max 2 months of it. Then my dad introduced me to a really close friend of mine, or now he is, and he became my mentor. Where he taught me a lot about private equity, venture capitalists.
Oh, you're about
like
to you're tickling this guy's nuts right now.
The whole back end. He did specialize in oil and gas, but for oil and gas aside, kind of taught me the fundamentals of like kind of how I operate. Studied under his wing. Did the whole kind of tour of being a part of that and learning the ins and outs of everything. And eventually kind of graduated to a point where I wanted to kind of do my own solo thing. So that's kind of where the nightlife, me owning a club and doing all that kind of came into play. So we raised a ton of money, kind of went for it. Lo and behold, building sold. Kind of every dream was broken. It was like the perfect building. It was like 15,000 square feet, just a big box. Was like everything I wanted and more. Especially knowing that I had all the funds raised and ready to go for it. And then kind of issue people's monies back. And we're just like, all right, like kind of tune in next time where I'll hopefully figure some shit out. Played pickleball with a really close friend of mine, Ryan Thompson. Shout out to you. And kicked my ass a couple times. And I was like, dude, this fucking sport is like wild. Like, it's so stupid to look at, but like
Once you
so
step on the
fun
court.
to play.
Yeah.
Like, holy shit. And did some research, did everything. Sorry, I'm getting off topic.
No,
you're good.
Continue.
Okay.
Please.
But yeah, did a little bit of research. I love like exclusive things and, not non-common things. So I was like, yo, let me look up like a fancy pickleball facility. Like, they gotta have one. They have fancy tennis clubs. That's a massive sport as is. And lo and behold, nothing kind of popped up. There's like a lot of conceptual stuff, but nothing that was like papered and actually happening. And then I was like, you know what, like, fuck it, I'm gonna go for it. Out of the blue, not really knowing anything about pickleball.
Stepping on the court once.
Yeah, maybe twice for like probably an hour, like 5 hours like total of the sport. And I was like, you know what, fuck, I'm gonna go for it. Like I know what I'm doing, know how to raise money. Like let me just go for it. Pitch ideas, some friends. We closed our first initial round in like 4 or 5 days. So I was like, okay, maybe we have something here. Still didn't have a building yet. And so I'm like, all right, I'm sitting on this boatload of cash, no building, like, let me figure it out. And lo and behold, this building popped up. I was actually pitched this exact building that Eastside's in right now 2 years ago for a nightclub.
Really? That would have been an interesting location for a nightclub right next to Austin Bouldering Project?
Yeah.
You just climb and then go get an espresso martini?
Yeah.
Sick.
But I think if you like think about the building as is, I think it would have been a crazy nightclub.
Yeah. Oh, it would have been like one of those. It would have been heavy, like EDM, like.
Yeah, it would have been like a Vegas style nightclub.
Yeah,
It's 20,000 square feet in a box.
massive.
Yeah, so I was like, you know what? Like, let me see if I can like finesse some like pickleball courts in this thing, and went through like the drawing engineering process. Realized, you know what? Like this can happen. Our original idea was actually for half of it, so we raised funds for half of it.
Half the facility?
Half the facility. So we wanted like 4 to 5 courts in one go, like 4 courts on the rooftop. That was going to be it. That's all we raised money for. Signed the lease. Like it makes headway. It's a massive lease being signed in 2023. I'm freaking out. I'm like, all right, like what the fuck did I just do? Like I didn't know anything about real estate at that point too. Was like, you know what, we're gonna fucking fail. Like this thing's gonna flop so fast.
I mean,
Yeah, I got like one of my best friends, my partner in this, Adrian. Got him to believe in it. You know, he gave cash and everything like that. He's like, yo, like this is gonna be it. And we signed a lease. I'm like, oh fuck, like we just bit off way more than we can chew. And then 3 weeks later, we found out my wife's pregnant.
And you're like, this needs to work.
I'm
needs to
like,
work.
I'm like figuring out like backup plans. I'm like, dude, I don't know what the fuck I'm gonna do with myself. Like like I got a baby now to look out for. I got like baby insurance and stuff. Like I got all these payments. I'm like, all right, like I have some money, but I'm like, what am I gonna do long term? Like if this thing flops. But yeah, continuing on, do the whole process, build it out, and then like I think a month into like us signing the lease, we realized like what we had wasn't gonna work in terms of like the half build out. So we said fuck it, like we got to expand. So then we took the whole building, the whole 20,000 square feet, and we're like, you know what, like if it's gonna work, it's gonna work like this. Like if we're gonna die, we're gonna die, you know?
Yeah.
But like let's go for it. Took the whole space, started building it out. We released like a wait list or like a newsletter. This work gets crazy. We get like 1,500 signups in like 2 months.
Just
like wait list signups.
Yeah.
Like inquiries on newsletters, and then we're like, you know what? Maybe we fucking made it.
That's so
We're about to be like
good.
rich.
We're about to be so rich.
I'm like looking at cars online. I'm like, all right, I'm about to cop this Ferrari in 2 months. Like we're good to
It's
go.
done.
Like we're good to go. And then we drop like signups. Like we release like signups for the public to now sign up. Dude, we got like 10 signups in the first week.
well, what was it that? Because obviously, when you got 1,500 or however many you just said, and you only get 0.1%, 1% of them,
yeah.
Like,
I honestly, I still to this day don't know the disconnect. Like, I thought the package that we, you know, we're giving out to the public was a great package. You know, like when you think about the market, you think about the uniqueness of the venue, like what's to come with the venue, and then, you know, obviously playing outdoors in Texas is brutal.
Yeah,
So
I know, yeah.
I was like, oh, dude, this is a no-brainer. This thing's gonna pop off. But then, you know, we release it, we get 10 signups in the first week, check into work, you know, go to the actual venue and it's fucking dead. I'm like, I don't know where the disconnect is. But then, you know, honestly, Cass was a massive, like, proponent of like just wait, like believe, like keep on believing, and like next week we had like 100 signups, and I was like, all right, maybe this is it. Like, this is it. And we're 6 months in business. We have about 400 signups total.
Oh wow.
Yeah, it's been great. I mean, when I think of 400, I don't think of much, but you know, when you put the dollar amount to it, it's been phenomenal for 6 months.
And then if you were also put 400 people in that facility all playing at one time, that'd be hell.
Yeah, it'd be absolute mayhem. But luckily, I mean, the system, the structure. I mean, we've done a lot of tinkering, right? Like, I don't think pickleball is a get it and go type sport. I think, especially with like indoor facilities, there's like a lot of structure that needs to happen. We put it together like a really good team. Like, we've weeded out a lot of like people that weren't really helping us, and put a small team together of honestly like really close friends.
That's awesome.
Like getting in business with your friends isn't probably like the best idea, but luckily I have a couple really good friends that are able to like distinguish work in our friendship.
Right.
And did a lot of tinkering back and forth, and I think we've come up with like a really good solution of like, it's never too busy, it's never too dead. It's like a perfect happy medium. And yeah, we're about to start looking for I guess our next phase, which is probably gonna be another like 3 locations here in Austin.
Dang.
Yeah, so that's gonna be fun.
So with the sorry, I just want to ask, this is the only question I have on this portion. So with like what Austin is right now, like the pickleball capital of the USA. I don't know if you know that.
I didn't.
But it is,
Yeah.
every pro that is on the PPA, MLP, anything like that, they're based out of here. You have Dreamland, you have Eastside Paddle Club, you have the Ranchers, you have all of the facilities in the lab. So with you guys getting 3 more locations, are those here, or are you guys?
Yeah, so obviously everything's gonna be strategic.
Yeah.
Right? Like, we can't just pop them up like they're Walgreens.
Right.
But I think there's a lot that we still, from a company, need to figure out, like, where's the right position to go. We know one for sure, and that's gonna be on the west side. So we'll straddle downtown Austin, and I'm very familiar with the demographic and the whole kind of scene of like Lakeway and the Westlake area. So I think it's a great move for us, especially like knowing that ours is a little bit of like a higher end facility. Obviously it's to everybody. Like the price is like not necessarily too premium, but it's enough for people to get involved. But I think like where we move to West, I think that spot will really pop off, just from like a data standpoint.
And how do you guys stand out from these other facilities that are because I swear they're popping up like freaking roaches. They're everywhere.
So
like
annoying.
Anyone who has a parking garage or like a half-acre backyard has created
Popping a pickleball court in there.
the pickleball, and then like a mini bar.
Yeah.
And so that when you said like they're
People like you, they're your ambassador. Boom.
yeah, and so I'm just like, how are you going to differentiate yourself in a place that is honestly like the market is being flooded with it?
I think a lot has to do with like our ideals, right? I think the brand imagery and kind of what the brand stands for is very like posh and unique. And I think with us I think the biting off more than you can chew is a massive thing for our situation, where, we could easily find a space that's, 30, 40 courts and just say, fuck it, I'm going to go for it. I got a shit ton of courts. I'm the king. But I think the way we've structured our business from a back end perspective and a growth perspective, I think is very like obtainable and realistic. So when people like kind of bake in, I guess, all the amenities and the whole experience, I think it's something that's worth it to them. As well as like a lot of places have like hidden fees. Like, it's a base fee and then it just fucking racks up.
And then it's court fees, and then if you want more than an hour, then it's
additional. Yeah. And I think like what we provided, yes, like from us, it's gonna hurt us a little bit by not charging extra fees and really going for like cash. But I think like what we put out is a product that people can actually enjoy and like want to stay with. As well as I think like the whole story behind it is really cool. Of just like what it is, what we're trying to achieve. And yeah, from like a concept standpoint, I think it's really cool. Obviously I'm biased, it's my project.
That's fair.
But I think it's cool especially like whenever the building's done and fully built. Obviously like city of Austin is just not like the nicest, but whenever the whole thing's built out, I think it'd just be a really cool experience.
So fun fact, they're actually putting in a speakeasy upstairs, so it's like an entire bar and lounge that overlooks the court. So like that whole like me making a joke of, so you're gonna go bouldering and then have an espresso martini. You quite literally are gonna play pickleball and then go upstairs and have an espresso martini.
Best of both worlds.
Yeah,
it really
like,
is.
I think a passion project is a speakeasy for me.
Yeah.
Just because one, it's really cool, and like I think Austin, I think the reason why the nightclub thing didn't work is I think Austin's having this massive culture shift.
Oh,
I'm pretty sure
the world is.
of speakeasies.
Yeah.
Clubs are cool.
Gotcha.
It's the 1920, the Roaring 20s is coming back, and I love the Great Gatsby era.
Well, and it's also
that made me cry.
I cry. I did cry.
I could recite that movie.
The fact that he didn't win an Oscar is insane. But what you're saying, it's like that level of exclusivity and experience, and the real estate industry is also experiencing that too. Is like people don't want copy and paste ideas anymore because like for a while that was getting people by. Like people want a speakeasy where it's kind of like, oh, like
I didn't know this existed.
Yeah.
And I think especially for the city of Austin, I think a lot of bars are cool and everything like that, but I think this massive culture change is like shifted towards speakeasies, dive bars, and stuff like that. That's why I see East Austin is insane on a weekend. But to tag on to that, I think like the concept of having this really posh, unique speakeasy in a pickleball facility is just so out there that I think it's gonna work.
Yeah.
You know, obviously I don't know the secret recipe of like if it's gonna work or not, but I mean, especially with it just being a kind of a box in this, you've been in the facility, in just the middle of nowhere, just seeing a black box, be like, oh, it's a really cool speakeasy. Like, how do I go up there? What is this? That like notion of mystery, I think, is really going to be cool.
Absolutely, and I kind of want. I mean, so you gave us a lot of info right there.
Yeah,
and I want to dissect a little bit of it. So, your first round of funding, your Series A funding, you close in 5 days. For those of you who don't know, Series A is just the first round. There's Series A, B, C. It can go all the way to Z if you really like. So Series A funded first round, 5 days. Talk to me about how you pitched raising capital for that, because I think a lot of people have really great ideas. But they don't have the money, right? And the best part is you don't have to have the money, but if you have enough data to back your idea,
for sure.
You know, you can turn dreams into reality like yourself. So talk to me about how that went.
I have really good ideas and dreams. I just don't have money.
Dude.
Okay, well,
me too. I'm like broke right now. But no, I think a lot. It was crazy because usually every pitch you do, you have to have an investor deck, right?
Yeah.
Analytics, numbers, the whole spiel. But obviously on such a short notice, and we didn't really have any of that. So I think a lot of it had to do with people just knowing my background and my experience and seeing kind of like what I've built over the years and like, I guess, what I've made. So whenever I would go to like, you know, friends or investors and being like, hey, like I have this really cool idea. I need you to back it, and kind of gave them the X, Y, and Z of like why I think it's going to work. I think it was just a no-brainer, right? Obviously, we didn't raise a software type of capital.
Yeah.
We raised a good amount, and especially for it to fill in that quick, I think the idea really gravitated. And then plus, I think raising money in health and wellness is definitely, or something that's not, how would you say it, like bad related, or like kind of like nightlife or a bar or anything like that. I think it's definitely easier to raise cash in something like real estate, you know, health and wellness and stuff like that. So whenever I kind of pitch the angle of like, this is a health and wellness based thing, obviously with a little twist, I think people just gravitated towards the idea and we're like, I think this thing can actually work.
And it's really interesting because like at the most very basic level, it was just like a supply and demand equation. Like you saw the demand there.
For sure.
There wasn't supply.
Yeah.
Solve for X.
Yeah.
That's essentially where Eastside came from.
Yeah. I mean, we were the first to market, so it was really cool to see it happen and take off in the way it did. But I mean, I still think even to this point with like just an immense amount of competition coming to the market, I still think we do the same amount of damage. Just from a structure and a company standpoint, I think it's something that anywhere we go, I think it's going to really do its thing.
And I think, believe it or not, I think you'll do even better because when there's a lot of quantity, there's not a lot of quality, and people always gravitate towards quality, which is why like Gucci and Louis Vuitton are always in such demand, even though they're such high price, like they're venable goods.
Yeah.
And so the more the price goes up, the more people want it naturally.
Yeah.
You know? And I think that's a really unique idea, especially with having a speakeasy. Like I could just see like a John Wick movie going on, getting some martinis, looking down, someone's playing pickleball, and you see John Wick pop out. Just
the fucking, with a pickleball racket.
With a pickleball racket.
I'd be
like, I'm telling you, dog, I could see that happen.
The way I would be looking down from the speakeasy going, what the fuck?
Yeah. Maybe a 16, though.
Dog, I'm telling you.
It'd be cool.
that'd be crazy.
So
That'd be crazy.
from like a business standpoint, obviously you're trying to run in your own lane.
Yeah.
But then you have things like Chicken and Pickle popping up.
For sure.
So like,
Great
say
concept.
if Chicken and Pickle or something along those lines was to come to fruition in Austin, would that be something again that is like a direct competitor? Or would you still say like, even from that lane, because they're more of a social and you guys are more of a boutique, that it would still be a different?
Yeah, I think from a competition standpoint, I definitely think we're, like you're saying, in our own lane. I think we really are the staple when it comes to like indoor pickleball in terms of like, one, build out, you know, two, the level of competition that we have in house in terms of like pickleball players. But I think if a Chicken and Pickle were to come to the city, I think it's going to do great. It's probably going to make a ton of money like they always do. But they're in such a different category, right? They're so food and bev driven, where like pickleball's the byproduct. Where, I'm going to go there, I'm going to chow some like greasy burger. I'm going to go play some pickleball and get fucked up. Yeah. But like, that's kind of not our lane, right? Like, when you come to Eastside, you know, not in a perfect ideal world, right? We would come at, on a Friday, 3, maybe like 5 o'clock. Yeah. Play a little bit of games, go take a shower, and then, you know, change. And then, you know, if we want to have a business meeting or maybe even a podcast, we can go up to the bar, have a chill, casual conversation, and then just enjoy kind of what's going on below.
That's awesome. So, and then you have Bambino connected to it, so it's like you don't like the food side
all day.
The food side is taken care of for you, exactly, and you guys kind of just like piggyback off of each other.
Yeah, I think honestly it was a great. We helped them a lot in terms of like catering our events and stuff like that. But yeah, it's a perfect location where you can truly stay there all day if you're a psychopath. Like, respectfully,
you have people that do that though.
Yes, dude.
And they bring lawn chairs and coolers.
I love that.
The culture is great.
I love that. Yeah.
I think to all of our members, like the culture is great.
Yeah.
The culture.
It's
like,
they're
exactly
friendly.
What I wanted.
It's friendly. Yeah. Which is crazy because you're also playing with like potentially another pro, and they're just like, "Hey, what's up, dude?" And you're like, "Hi, I've watched you on TV."
Yeah. I mean, shout out to like Julian, Arnold, and Lauren. They've worked out here a couple times, or I think they work at SoCo. But they're 2 pro pickleball players, and like they were so transparent, so nice. Really, didn't even really know who they were, and the community is really cool. I mean, there's obviously some attitudes here and there from other people, but I mean that's to be expected with the sport.
And so, I feel like a lot of people listening, you know, they aren't as fortunate as you to be in the position. So say someone's listening and they have an amazing idea similar to like Eastside Paddle Club, not like Eastside Paddle Club, but similar. What would be step 1, right? What would be the building block to get to the top of that hill?
Yeah, I think like if you're in a niche or if you're in the market to do some sort of startup, I think the biggest thing is like first researching your competition and your audience. Obviously, if it's something crazy and outlandish, maybe give it a second thought. But if it's something that's doable and something that the market's craving, like definitely do as much as you can to research the back end, make sure everything is like as well put together as possibly can be, and then honestly just shoot your shot, like to whether it's your mom, your dad, your friends, you know, whoever it is. Eventually, it's gonna pick up. You know, like if the idea sucks, then
people are gonna let you.
They'll tell you.
They'll let you know.
Yeah.
You know, like if I have a stupid idea, they're gonna be like, "That's fucking cool, but that's so stupid." You know, where I'm like, maybe it's just my high thoughts,
right?
But like this is probably not gonna work. But you know, if it's something that's actually like people would like, it's gonna attract someone. You know, whether that be like your parents, you know, reaching out to a close friend that might be interested, or whoever it is. It's only time, you know?
And then when it came to that fear of failure that you had, obviously coming with a baby on the way, what would you say to that person who is like, I'm scared of leaving the comfort of my job, I have a family?
Like, I don't know where I heard the quote from, but like there's beauty in being uncomfortable. Like there really is, because I mean, I genuinely thought we were gonna flop in the first month, like where I'm gonna have to owe all this money, like this thing's just gonna go bankrupt, and it honestly motivates you like no other. Like I know it's better said than done, but like you have to really be in that position to understand what you need to overcome to make it happen. And I think like that's where we did, or at least I, from a structure standpoint, did as much as I possibly could to try to reinvent ourselves, even though we were so fresh, to try to make it happen. And eventually it happened.
So if someone listening, for example, doesn't have like your network, doesn't have your background, you know, what advice would you give them? I mean, say they just moved to a new city and they have, you know, 10 grand to their name, but by the end of the year they have aspirations of getting it to 100 grand or even $1 million. Give me like 5 steps you would take in that first 6 months to 10x your assets.
He's like, I don't know.
I mean, I can say a couple of things, but they're definitely like
Outside of drugs.
oh, dude, definitely not drugs.
Drugs and crypto, outside of the most volatile things.
I mean, I made a lot of my money on option trading. It was something that when COVID hit, it was something my grandma taught me before she passed. And I mean, she gave, like, the big story for like me was like I had $1,500. She gave me $1,500 and was like, hey, like, try it out, which is great. Like, I'm so thankful for that $1,500. But like that year turned it into, I think, like 40 grand, which was great for me. I was 17, just
sick.
Still in high school, being like, yo, like,
I'm rich.
Yeah, I just did some shit, you know? And I think risk. Like, obviously, like, to build a network, like you were saying, to add on to that, honestly, getting uncomfortable and just talking to people. If you're gonna get shut down by someone, at least tried.
Absolutely.
You know? Like, I think that's a big thing. For the longest time, I was scared to even fucking talk to people. Like, if they had stature, I'm like, oh, they're probably gonna tell me to go, you know, fuck off. But like, honestly, even you, like, when I first met you,
I thought you were gonna tell me to fuck off.
No, I was actually nervous to meet you.
I was nervous. I knew who you were, and I was like, okay, I'm gonna ask him if I can come film at his facility, and he's not gonna pick up my call, and he's gonna be like, dude, tell this influencer to never talk to me again. I was like,
a business,
right? For real.
No, I mean, I think just getting uncomfortable, like, even like if you're talking to some dude and, you know, they're well off, you know, the least they can, the worst they can do is say no.
Yeah.
But, you know, if they say yes and you have fucking a minute to talk to them, do as much as you can to not necessarily ask questions and pester them, but just like, one, see how they're acting, and, you know, ask them how they're doing, or ask them what they do, and just kind of get a service level, like, read on them. And eventually, you know, if they like you, they're going to gravitate towards you. That's kind of what happened, is like, when I met my mentor that kind of taught me everything I know, my dad introduced me to him, and, you know, dude's got probably over $2 billion in assets. And I'm like, all right, I'm just this little Indian kid, like, that's so shy, like, I don't know what I'm doing. And my dad was like, hey, like, meet my son, and met him. And I mean, I literally asked him a couple questions, like, probably some service level questions. I don't know what I asked, but eventually, like, you know, he gravitated towards me, and I learned basically everything from him, you know. And it was just me getting uncomfortable and just asking something that I necessarily wouldn't have asked.
I think that's so important too, because like, the roadmap's there. Like, someone already did it. You just got to ask them. I think a lot of people go wrong, and they lead with questions rather than lead with value.
Yeah.
It's like, they don't have to talk to you.
Yeah.
But I feel like if you come with value, if you come with a business plan from A to Z, like,
they got to hear you out.
They got to at least hear you out. Again, I always harp, like, talk to people. You never know. And worst they can say is no. But,
exactly.
you know, I think, you know, success is just preparation and luck.
Yeah. And I think, like, if you're in the mindset where, you know, hearing no scares you, I mean, that's a good thing to have.
Yeah.
Like, it's all right. Now I got to take the next step. You know, I eventually am going to have to get denied by someone, right? Like, I think for the longest time I was in this mindset, not in high school, but after high school, of like, honestly came with girls. Like, this was kind of how it was. I was always scared to shoot my shot because I was just scared of getting rejected.
Yeah.
But I mean, I gotta grow up one day, you know, like, I gotta be a man, you know, and just asking or doing whatever it is, eventually, you know, something's gonna go, a shot's gonna hit.
A blind squirrel finds a nut every now and then.
Yeah. And damn, that was deep.
That was deep. Dang.
And a broke clock's wrong twice a day.
Right.
Boom. Oh,
right twice a day.
Oh yeah, a broke clock is right twice a day. You gotta think about it. That time's gonna come. Think about it. If a clock is stuck on 12:12.
Deep.
Bro, you know what I'm saying?
Think about
Whoa. we've come to the end. The last thing that we like to ask our guests are if you could leave someone watching this with a nugget, like something that they're like, I listened to Turab on the We're Just Making It podcast and this is what he said. What would you leave people with?
It could be cliche and just say like dream big, but I think the biggest thing is just honestly like ask away. Like no one's sorry, let me put this in the right sense, but kind of got me hicked up. I don't really know what to say.
No, you're good.
But I think like the biggest thing is just like ask. Like the worst thing that someone can say is no.
Yeah.
You know, like that's how I got to where I am today. Just asking, like whether it be anybody, just asking a question.
No could still be a yes.
Yeah.
But it's gonna be a no unless you ask.
Exactly.
So, well, man, we appreciate you having us. Or wait, we appreciate.
No, I thank you for having me.
It was really great. I'm really excited to see what the future is for Eastside and for you and your baby and your family.
Yeah.
All right, guys, that is another episode of We Are Just Making It podcast. If you liked this episode or you believe that someone else would really enjoy it, be sure to leave a like, comment, or subscribe, and tell us if there are any guests that you think should be here to tell their story. I'm your host, Amir.
I'm Oli, and Turab, tell us where we can find you on socials. Eastside Paddle Club.
Yeah.
This is my first time.
Give your shout out.
Yeah, give your shout out.
Sometimes kind of nervous. Just follow me on Instagram at, I don't even know what my ad is. Just Turab Khambati, I think.
Okay. And then follow Eastside Paddle Club.
Yeah, 100%. Hit that brand up. Yeah,
Register for the newsletters.
Yeah. No, just sign up.
I
don't want the newsletters. Just sign up. But yeah, thank you guys for having me.
All right, guys.
Absolutely.
See you on the next one. Peace.